It is preparing, so I'm going to assume that all things are working. And good morning, everybody. Nice to see you here. Thank you for coming in. I am just going to do one quick thing here and I got everybody down here. Anyway, just a little background because most of you know me and all that kind of stuff, but it's always good to start. Good morning, Lori. Thanks for coming. So my background is working with businesses and coming up with ways to increase revenue. That's pretty much all I know how to do. I started a finance company a number of years ago and it was very successful and profitable, all that good stuff. And people then after a while were saying, well, you're a finance person. And I would go, no, I'm not a finance person. I just know how to make businesses make money. Because, you know, the finance part, I would do ratios and calculate things at 11 o'clock p.m. because that's when I had time. And I thought, that doesn't take so much creativity. And that's the easy part. You just, in the old days, of course, had to use calculators. Well, everybody here probably knows what a calculator is, but, you know, there are plenty that are out there in the workforce now that don't even know what a calculator is. Anyway, so what I love doing is working with businesses and helping them grow. Primarily in the B2B space, I've worked with small companies. I've worked with, I suppose the biggest one was 3M. So, you know, it really doesn't matter because the process is the same. And I'm a process person. I like to take things step by step and one step at a time versus some people that are in the marketing scope, don't work on a strategic level and they work on a tactical level and they kind of jump all over and they've got one good idea and then they want to run with that and then that doesn't work and then they go to another idea and they haven't really put the pieces together. So that's basically what I do, is just put together the pieces so we can grow a business and keep it making money. And today I had a request. Hey, Curtis, thanks for coming in from, you're probably even colder there. We are 12 below, I guess. How bad is in Fargo? Oh, he's connecting. He'll get to us. Anyway, and I see Janet has to leave. That's fine. And I welcome people to come for whatever time you have and bring your questions. So that's just a little bit of my story. And anybody here have a question? Otherwise, I have something that I'm ready to roll with. Anybody have anything that you wanted to start off with? Oh, Lori, I can't hear you. Doggone it. Just a second. Now I got to go change. Okay. Lori, let me hear you again. I heard Ilona earlier. Is it on your end, Lori?
Simply said,
okay, that's not going. Can somebody else say something?
No.
Can somebody else talk though?
Hey, Becky, can you hear me?
Okay, now I lost Tom. I got to go back to that. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, I can hear Lori.
Okay, I can't hear Lori, but I can hear the rest of you. So Lori, I don't know what else to do. You might have to mute and unmute. See if that does it.
All right.
Was that you, Lori?
I believe so.
Yay, yay. We are all
Yeah, I
good.
can hear it too.
Okay, this is very silly because all I said, because it was dead air after a pause, I said, roll away. That's all I said.
Well, we're going to roll away and Mary's here. Thank you, Mary. So I had a request to show how to do a QR code. Now, some of you probably know how to do that. It's not that hard. It just seems like it's a mystery if you haven't done it before. And so I thought, well, let's just walk through that because it's something too. If you haven't done one, all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, now you feel like you're really smart because you know how to do a QR code. And I have dubbed myself the queen of QR codes, which probably isn't a great distinction, but you know, now I'm kind of like putting QR codes all over everywhere. So I'm going to share my screen and just walk through. Where did that thing go? Okay. All right. Now, does the qrstuff.com show up on your screen?
Not yet.
Oh, come on. Now,
There, yeah.
okay, super, thanks. So I'm going to walk through this. And if you want to do your own code, you just go to qrstuff.com. And if anybody wants, I didn't type up the directions, but I wrote them all down, and I can share that with you. So I'm just going to walk through this. If you want to get there, we'll maybe do a couple times here. So you go to this, it's free. It's really simple. There are several out there. This one I think is probably the easiest. So I thought, okay, what do we want to do? I'll just put in and say, I'm going to do a Facebook one. So can you see where I put that? It says data type and I put Facebook over to the right. So you put that in, hit your return, and then scroll down. It says popular, it says social links, and lo and behold, what's it say? Facebook. Click that. And what I decided I would do is do the code for my new Facebook group, which I think you can see when I clicked over to it. Maybe you can't. But anyway, so you all know I've got the journal out. Well, I came up with a group based on input from Tom, who's sitting here, to have a place where people could go share and support each other and all that stuff. So let's go back to, whoops, the wrong thing. QR code. Now you can see that screen again, I hope. All right. So I'm going to paste in the link from that particular Facebook page. Just paste it right. Boy, that looks weird, doesn't it? Well, let's see if that did anything. I'm going to do that over. That just doesn't look like it got the
No.
whole thing. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Wow, it's just coming up that way for some
That's
reason.
weird.
Yeah. So then you scroll down. We'll just see if this worked. Scroll down, hit next step. And then you have all these things you get to pick. You know, the module shape, all this kind of stuff. I'll just pick the second one. I don't really care. Eyeball shape, I'll pick the second one. I don't really care. You can see over on the right, the image. Now that is the code for this. And then you go down and you don't even have to pick hardly anything. You can just go with the defaults. Anyway, scroll down, hit next step, then scroll up a little bit. Now you can see we're on step number 3, look and feel, shape, color, and logo. So we're on color. So you can pick your background color and you can see the QR code over there on the right. So I like blues. So I'm going to pick the background blue, and there you go. It made the background blue, or I made the foreground. Then you can pick the background, and let's just say I want the background purple. Okay, and hit next step. Well, that doesn't look so swift, but that's how it works. And then I'm not going to put in a logo, so I will just leave it as it looks and hit next step again. Then you get an error correction level. If you do use this one, pick level L or level M, and that just affects the density of your, I don't know, little pixels. I'm not exactly sure what they call the little boxes. And in a free version, which is what we have, you will only have the option of having PNG, which is what it has there as a default. And then you go down and click next step, and you're done. And you can download it. You can see over here on the right. You can print it. You can email it. You can make yourself a shirt. I don't know. That's kind of funny. So that's all there is to it. Now, a lot of times what I do is I use my snipping tool on the computer. I shut that down. But when I do mine, a lot of times I will go and I will snip this, because then it's in a JPEG. Now, I don't know if that matters a whole heck of a lot, but that's what I do. So that is basically it. And now I thought we could go back. I'm not sure even how to start over. So I'm not going to download.
You're essentially using a QR code to get some viewer from here to there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a shortcut. You know, the
Yeah.
whole thing when we are talking to people, we have a business card. Or, okay, so I'll show you one way that I do it. So when I do presentations, now, does this show up on your screen?
Yeah.
It's got contact information. Okay.
Mhm.
So when I do presentations, I have henceforth decided to be the queen of QR codes. And so I will have a QR code right here that has my email. Well, if somebody's in a presentation and they go, oh, I want the PowerPoint, they can write there in the presentation, click that, send me an email, go PowerPoint or whatever. And if any of you are looking at this, you could test all these. I've tested all of them. They should be working. Oh, that's the other thing I would suggest to do. Test everything. And then like here, the middle one is my journal on Amazon.
Oh,
So
Joe,
again-
we're not seeing what you're looking at.
oh, okay.
We're
So
still
let-
back at QR stuff.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to stop and start it again because it
Yeah.
sometimes seems like if you change pages, it doesn't like you. Okay. Let me go to that again. Okay. Now can you see 3 QR codes? Okay.
Hmm.
Fabulous. Janet, you are like my unpaid assistant. Thank you so much for giving me input here. Okay. So there you can see. And again, use it how you want. If you do presentations inside your organization, outside your organization, whatever, it's great to have this contact information for people to just quickly pick up their phone. They can shoot it at a computer screen or at a big screen. If you're presenting in a group, they can get these. So here's the one, like I was saying, for email. So if somebody says, hey, send me the directions on how to do a QR code, they can click right there, send me an email, zap, we're done. And when I speak in front of groups, usually I talk about the journal that just launched on January 20th, and I give them away. I'm giving one away today. And so the other thing is, well, shoot, if you want to buy some, and a lot of you here have purchased them, if you say, gosh, this would be great for Valentine's, for family members. Okay, well, this would be great for my team. And Valentine's is kind of a neat thing to celebrate. And Valentine's is weird. So what do you do at work? Well, I can give people this journal and I can encourage them to use it, or we can even incorporate it in our team meetings. So anyway, so I got that on there. And then the free Facebook group is actually the group where I'm working with small businesses versus the other Facebook group, which is for people that want to just go be positive. So that's one way that I've been using it. And it is a time saver. And frankly, it makes us look like we're more with the program. if that's an issue. All right, so I'm going to stop and then I'm going to go back because it seems like that's about the only way I can make sure that this works. Okay, so here's the QR code. So I'm going to walk through it one more time. And now I've changed my screen so I can't see everybody. Anyway, so if you want to do it, if you haven't already, go to qrstuff.com. And I will just give you a minute to go there if you want to do this. And again, this is the free version. You can do a paid version. For most of us, free version is going to work just fine. All right, so I'm just going to assume if you want to do this, that you are there. Now, the first screen, again, is the free QR code generator. It looks like what you're seeing here. And then the first box or first activity is data type. So I thought maybe something everybody would like would be to make one for their email. So I'm just going to put email in the box. And then you hit return. Okay, come on. And then what happens is you go down here. First one is popular, next is social, and next is business links. Now, can somebody pipe in that you can see business links?
Yeah.
Okay,
can.
super. Okay, right under business links, it says email address. So click on that. And now you have the new window. So how simple is this? So I'm just going to type in my old one, my Yahoo, my personal one. Okay, type that in. If you're following along and doing your own, type it in and then hit return. Okay, did you see it pop over here on the right? Maybe a little different images. Okay, so there's my Yahoo email QR code. I can stop right there and I'm done. Let's go, however, to be just a little more creative. Next step. So now we should have the new screen. And again, now we're working on shapes, module and eyeball. Who cares? The eyeball are these little boxes in the code. Can you see where I'm moving my mouse? So that's called eyeball. So again, I'll just use the default because I don't really care. And then I'm going to hit next step. Okay, so now we've got the colors. And again, well, maybe I'll take red this time. So first thing is it's on foreground, well, foreground color. So we're going to go with the reds. And see what that did? So you got a pink background and you got all kinds of reds. If you want to change something, like if you want to change the background, here's your little pen. Click on that, go down and say, you know what? I just want it white. So you can pick any of the colors down here. Hopefully you can see this okay. So I'm going to pick white. I'm just going to look up there. Ah, so now my background is white. Well, hot dog. And I'll go hit next step. Again, you can stop any point. You can say, hey, good enough, like it, I'm done. There was something on the prior steps. You're supposed to be able to also, let me just get rid of those. You can also change the eye color and the eyeball color. Now you probably know, what is that? Okay, so eye color is the outline part on the QR code, the outer box. If I remember right, let's just see, let's just make that black. Okay, oh, that is the inner box. See how it changed them to black? So that's your, that's eye color, and then the eyeball, I believe, is the outside line. So let's change that to, let's go green. Okay, see how that works? And if you want to get fancy schmancy and have a bunch of different stuff going on, you can, or you can just go with black, or you can just have it be one color, like I originally started with the red template, and it has the variety of reds, or you can do any of these in the presets and you're done. So anyway, I just love that I've researched about 4 or 5 different sources on this, and this is the one I think is the simplest. And again, if you want to do a logo, you can do that. I haven't done that. I believe that puts it in the middle of your QR code. I just am like, I don't need that. Simplify. So that's all there is to it. And like I said, pick your level, L or M. You can read up on that. It has to do with the density and how good it is when you make it smaller and bigger, and how readable, you know, how easy it is for other devices to read it. All right.
So Becky, we have something in the chat around QR code readers. And I replied, I've just only ever been shown to take a snapshot with the camera that's in my phone and it will jettison me immediately. But are there other ways that businesses or people use QR codes, or, you know, like something to read them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I was actually with some people last night, and I don't know how the heck we got on QR codes, because now, like I said, I am the queen of it. And I just do that in jest because I'm like, you know, I'm a goofball, so what the heck. Anyway, I have recently become an Apple phone owner. And if any of you are in the Apple ecosystem, you know what Apple products are like. I still have my old Apple Classic and Macintosh computer that are those old boxes that are 20 years old. And recently I took them both out of storage and fired them up, and they both work. And I threw some discs in there of my books, because I'm thinking, you know, now that I got the journal out, gosh, maybe I can do my books that I'm not going to have to print 5,000 copies and have them sitting, you know, for sale. So anyway, Apple is just, they're just so much beyond anybody else. And I don't know where my phone is. Oh, here it is. So the thing, if you have an Apple phone, they make stuff so stinking simple. If you have an Apple phone, you just open it up to your camera, and then you basically point it at the QR code, whether it's on a big screen, you know, whether it's on my computer screen and you're watching in a Zoom. If you've got an Apple, they make it so stinking simple. So that's the only way I know for sure how to do it. Now, if you've got a Droid, my understanding, and I had some trouble making it work. If you've got an Android phone, you open up your camera and you still hover over, and you need to, I believe, actually take a picture. And then I think there might be another step. I had trouble when I had my Android. I don't know if there's anybody that's got an Android phone that can fill us in on how that works. But like I said, with the Apple phone, you do it and you're done. I mean, and I think, okay, for how many years did I fight having an Apple because I thought they were too expensive? But, you know, when my kid got me one for free, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Okay, we've got some other people here. Is there anybody that uses an Android where you can share how that works? And that's the
have an
only way I use it.
Yeah, I have an Android and I typically find that as soon as I hover, almost like hitting a sweet spot, it just jettisons me. I don't even
Okay.
need to hit snap the photo. But what
Okay.
are others' experiences?
Yeah, has anybody else had anything else work? Because like I said, when I had my Android, it was like, it would sort of work, it would sort of wouldn't, and it was just so frustrating. Mary, yeah, do you have, you're on mute still, I believe, Mary.
Sorry, I'm late. I won't go into it, but yeah, excited to be here and thanks for showing us this. This is great. And I was wondering, you showed us an example of how to get to your email as a quick connection, and I have an Apple phone, and I wonder if you can just like do QR codes to your website, and
Oh, yeah,
so if
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
typed in website, you could do it too, and then
Yeah.
I looked and I started thinking about this when you were talking. And, you know, in the COVID era, they didn't have menus at restaurants anymore. So they had all the QR codes sitting on the table. And so you just, I have an Apple, so I would just take a picture and the whole menu would come up. So essentially, I don't know if this free version would enable you to put more content in, like not a menu, I'm not a restaurant, but you could do other things like your book and like the first page and get people like a little taster to
Yeah.
order. So have you done that kind of level of content in a QR code?
Yeah, hold on a quick minute, because you probably missed this part then. So just a second.
Yeah, I missed the first 5, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And this might be repetitive. You might have seen this. So did you see can everybody see my 3 QR codes?
Yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So really, depending on what you want to do, you can almost do anything. Let me go back and see if I can pull up the deal again. QR codes. Okay, hold on a minute. Go back to share. Come on.
Yeah, I saw the journal, but I didn't know when you clicked when you took a picture of that, what they would see on your journal.
Okay, so again, let's just go back here. So you've got data type, you've got popular. Now, I'm assuming, Mary, can you see this screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay, thanks. So you got popular, website, plain text, PDF file. So let's say that,
Gotcha. Okay.
and this would have been smart, but I was working on this last night and I didn't really think about this ahead of time. Let's say that I had made a PDF of how to do your own QR code. Let's say I had that. I could put the PDF link in here and I could have put that up for everybody, and you would just click it and you go, snap, there's the directions. How slick is that?
Okay, so then you just PDF file and download from your own computer the PDF file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, I haven't actually done that once, so I'm saying yes, yes, yes. But let's, you know, and the social links, like if I wanted to do a link, a QR code for one of my videos, I could just do that. And then I got a
Okay.
QR code for that. And you can do things like pay, you can see here, UPI payments, phone numbers, and there's more.
Gotcha.
So-
Okay.
So
Thank
I
you.
like this site because it's free and it's got so many options that make it easier for you to use it. And I think you could probably here across from data type, just put in almost anything and it would give you a code. Like if you put in a PDF, I don't know, whatever the designation, the data that you get on the top of your browser there for a PDF. If you put that in, I think it would automatically give you a QR code. So I don't
Okay,
know how
I-
essential it is that you pick on the exact one, but what the heck, they got it, so why not?
We could play with it and put different content and see how it works when we just scan it ourselves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
So
Thank you.
anyway, like I said, I think it's so simple. And some of you know me well enough that I'm like, I just love simple. And when something is easy and you go through it a few times and you're like, oh my God, I feel like a genius. I'm with the program finally. Wow, I can do this. And it's really not that hard. And all of a sudden it opens up a whole new world. So that's kind of
Becky, I agree with your rationale wholeheartedly. I am proud that I grew up climbing trees and there was only 4 television channels, the 4th one being public television. However, the era that we are in, I mean, if you show up somewhere, if you have a booth and you're selling a product at a trade show or similar, people do look at you funny if you don't prominently have at least one option of a QR code that people can scan and buy your product from you. So I love that you are covering this.
Okay, well, I'm glad somebody asked about it because I just kind of thought, okay, well, I figured it out. Well, no big deal. And yet it took me a while to go around. And like I said, I've researched 4 or 5 different places. And the first place that I was actually doing this was on Canva because I was making presentations. And they have an option, whatever you want to call it, that you can do that. So I'll just show you one other thing because, you know, we're sharing ideas here. Some of you, let me see. There you can see it. So when I go do my talks, there we go. I printed these postcards and you can see up at the top, it says my one idea. So when I'm doing presentations, my goal is, can everybody there get one idea they can use? Well, and then there's space for notes. And then I tell them, you know, when are you going to do this? And send me an email and I'll follow up with you, or I'll send you a reminder, or, you know, whatever. Well, anyway, that's an option. But on the back is where, again, you can see this. I put 3 of my QR codes and printed this. So when I'm doing a speaking thing, I'm like, okay. And then because, you know, my oldest brother is over 80, I have got old school. Okay. You can type in all this stuff if you want to and make it more difficult and miserable and make typos and then not get there. Anyway, so that's one thing that I've been doing. And most of you probably know on LinkedIn, you can generate a QR code. Does everybody know that? Okay, so we don't need to go into that. If somebody wants to, just speak up. All right. Hey, Brad, thanks for stopping in. All right, so now, anybody after all of this fun and games, any questions come to mind about marketing, sales, strategy, anything that we can answer for you?
Becky, I would say too, can you pop open the chat and just look at, there's a bit of chatter and you maybe have some other ideas to weigh in regarding, for example, generating multiple QR codes, you know, for different things. Have you had any experience yet with that? I mean, that's really, I haven't yet, but I love that
Yeah.
question.
Yeah,
Thanks for asking that, Lori. I know it's, this is Katie. Hi, Becky.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Hi, Katie.
holding this. So that was my question. So if anybody has mapped QR codes to different revenue lines in QuickBooks, just so if you have multiple products like, you know, memberships or events, fees, or things like that, I run a nonprofit, things like that. I want them to come into QuickBooks mapped to each category. So it doesn't come in one lump sum. And then you have to do the categorization on the back end, you know, so that's one of my questions. And I've just been in the process of investigating this, but so this group is really helpful just to shortcut research time, right? And so that's one. And then the other quick one I had was when you were doing the email address in the data type, was the first option plain text for email type? Is that what you picked?
what I did was I typed in and I hit, you know, enter, and then I scrolled down and I think it was under business.
Oh, okay.
Something.
Okay.
And
So I
then
didn't even have to do that. Okay.
it says email.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Perfect. So
But
then
like-
back to my other question about the QR. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I am not sure. I would just say experiment with it.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is my designer for the journal, is actually my nephew. And so he made some custom QR codes for me.
Mhm.
And, you know, like he put a logo in the middle and he did this and that. And then I just did my own on here. I'm like, okay, I just need to get something done.
Yeah.
So whatever you feel works. And so you might just start out with the basic and go, okay, I just want to have something that works. Well, then, you know, in a month you might go, oh, let me try that color thing. Let me see how that works. And you might have, like in your case, Katie, I don't know if this would work, so I would experiment with it, but you might have a different color for
Mhm.
membership. You might have
Yeah,
a
that's
different color for, you know, event.
Yep.
Yes, Lori, thank you. Oh, you got the QR code.
Nice.
Lori, is that in the back of the book for sending people to my website or my Facebook group, or is this for in the new book where it's join the community?
This is in the very front of the
Okay.
book. Join our community.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So yeah, so I'm just trying to get with the program. And I think we're all trying to do that.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I don't know, all of us come from, I think, the background where go figure it out, right?
Mhm.
You know, those of us that came from that background, or your farm kids like me, it's like, go out and do such and such. And you're like, okay, whatever the heck that is, I'll figure it out. And so there's things like the QR code. I'm like, oh, God, there's got to be a way to do this. And that's when I was working on Canva. I don't know if anybody told me, or if somehow when I was just looking at something, I'm like, oh my gosh, QR codes. So I was actually using the Canva site, and I would go snip, and then that might be how I did the ones that I showed you that I use in presentations, or that I, you know, my little postcard. I can't remember where I came up with that. You know, and then I use my snippet, and then I use that. So I jerry rig a lot of stuff and figure out what do I know how to do. And I use the technology that I know. Now there's probably better ways, smarter ways, faster ways, but I figure out, I'll figure out one way to get this thing done. And then maybe somebody will point out a more efficient way or something. So great discussion. I'm glad you like this because, oh, I love that. Thanks, Katie. One of the things is I sit and I think, well, if I figured this out, it can't be that big of a deal. Or, you know, probably everybody knows how. So I think this is the only way that we help each other and learn is like, oh, this little tidbit that I learned, and somebody's like, oh, that makes a difference in my whole day. All right. Other questions?
Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I have a question. Can you remind how to get your journal? I do remember seeing it. And then in the busy moments of the day, I couldn't find how to get back to it. I am interested in this because it sounds like you're just doing a journal that helps business people, like especially when they don't have their own marketing department. I'm a fractional marketing and business development company. So I'd like to see that.
Yes, there is the long link from Amazon that I just put in the chat.
Oh, gotcha. There it is. Okay.
You can see if you can click on that. Otherwise, if you go to Amazon Books and you type in Becky Amble, it should take you there. It'll give you some of my grandma books and stuff that I've done in the past that were also sold by other publishers.
Okay.
And I just got mine, Mary, this morning. It was on
Okay.
my front steps, like the little icicle.
Timing.
Yeah, very good timing.
That's
And
Brad.
I flipped through it, and you know, Becky, it's for everybody. If you have a relative in prison right now, they would enjoy this journal. I mean, it's just for anybody, a student, an entrepreneur, a person in the, you know, Becky, isn't that what you designed it for? It's just like, what are your ideas? The quotes I've already flipped through. I'm like, oh, these quotes are so fun. They're so inspiring.
Well,
Okay,
thank
great.
you. Maybe I'll digress a bit into the journal because, you know, some people asked me when I was doing a talk and I was giving away my Love from Grandma book. And they were asked, I mean, you kind of look at a lot of stuff I do and I go, this is really simple, but everything had a reason. And so I was telling this group, I said, when I did this, everything about this book had to be from a grandma. The chair was my mom's. She was a grandma. we actually, this is bizarro, I held up a big mirror to get the reflection that made it look like there was some kind of essence in that chair. Anyway, you maybe can't see it, but there's lace in the window. That was my grandmother's tablecloth. Then there's like a quilt type thing. My photographer brought that. Well, the team, husband and wife, she's a grandma. And then there was something over here on the little table, a little coffee cup and another little thing. Those had to be from grandma's. And when I was sharing, you know, because they're like, well, what about that book? And I'm like, you really want to know about this book? Okay, we'll talk about it. So they asked me about that. And then they said, well, when you had the other publisher, what did you tell them? And I said, it didn't matter what I told them per se, because I did it when I did it myself, and I had to have everything be a grandma. Everything had to be authentically grandma. And I said, I cared about it. You know, what the other publishers do, they just do whatever the heck they want. So, you know, it's like, you don't have a whole lot of say when you're dealing with publishers. But inside the book, then I took the lace from my grandma's tablecloth and whoops, how do we, anyway, you can see that became the divider page. And so even with this book, simple journal, I mean, how stinking simple can you make a book, right? And I said, well, I thought about everything in here. And so this had to be the title page where they write their name. I have enough space here. So when I give them to people, or if you give them, you can write the person's name there. And I suggest you do with gold or silver metallic pens just to make it look better. And then I thought, well, some people want to get organized and some people don't. Some people want to be random. So I have this. And I even did a little video on this. And I said, okay, this is graffiti art done by my son. And it looks kind of random, just like our ideas. But if you look at it closer, especially down in the bottom, you can see it's very precise. And so then I used his artwork and made it 100% black and white in the corner of each page, just as my little piece of a metaphor for ideas that we might think are disconnected and all over the place. And it's like, no. Depending on what it is, we can make things fit together. And so, you know, I just want to encourage people. And like the quotes on the bottom, I went through like 300 quotes and picked out the ones that I liked. And, you know, it just sort of turned into a little bit more than a simple throw it together with lines. All right.
Question on the selling through Amazon, you know,
Yeah.
with your, right, with you creating these books, and when you sell through Amazon, do you see who orders your info? Is that shared with you, or is it just ordered and you get another sale?
I don't know, Mary. I've been too busy to go back and look at some of the data.
I just always kind of wondered what kind of report data they gave you on your sales. and
Yeah,
how
I'm
detailed it would
pretty
be.
sure you just get numbers. I'm pretty sure
Numbers,
it's
okay.
just numbers. And, you know, I have a coach in Scotland and a group that I work with, and he's been phenomenal as a resource as far as some of those picky little things you need to know about Amazon. But
Mhm.
Mary, if you've got a book idea in you, the really great thing about Amazon is you can sell one book. And in the old days, you know, when I did this one, I don't know, I must have printed 3,000 or 5,000 or whatever of the one. In the old days, we had to print them and then we had to sell them. Well, now with Amazon, you get the book all done and laid out and all that jazz. And they don't even have minimum that I know of. I don't think they have minimum
Oh,
sales
really?
requirements. Yeah.
Yeah, it was always an afterthought for me, and it has nothing to do with my primary fractional business, but I don't know many people on this call, but if the people that know me as I'm a horse crazy lady. And I was thinking as a side hustle, I was writing, because I'm creating an obstacle course for my horses for training. So I kind of thought maybe I put together a book or a journal, or I like the journal idea over a book, even calling it something like that, of different things that you can use that you have in your backyard that you can use for an obstacle course, and then do routes of like, okay, here's this, and then team kind of things, weed pulling, go to the mailbox, side pass, all this kind of stuff. So I really was kind of interested in how you sell through Amazon. That might be a great topic that we could talk about you know,
Yeah,
someday.
and just a couple quick things because I was called popcorn brains by one of my clients because he said, when I need help, you have so many ideas. Well, the other thing is you can do ebooks on that. And what I would do is consider an ebook. You can use Canva. If you use Canva to do a book, it doesn't work with Amazon. So just keep that in mind. But if you're doing an ebook, Canva can be great. But I would say break it down into pieces. So you have an obstacle course. Here's obstacle course using cones, blah, blah, blah. And you do that and you do a video and you do the ebook and you do maybe a checklist and you got like 4 or 5 things that you do just on one particular obstacle course. And then if you do it in an ebook, you can sell those or you can give them away or you can give them away as a lead gen and get people to your Facebook group where then they do something else. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But the other thing is if you do it, the Canva has limitations, but if you do one obstacle course at a time, now you got 9 of them, you got a book. So if you do it in chunks, it helps you get the book done. But then you'd have to deal with the whole Canva issue. So that's another thing. All right, great. We could go into that for hours. Yeah, Katie.
I have one other question about Amazon. Are you saying that that you can basically drop ship books? So meaning that you don't have to print the journals in inventory. You can send them the layout. And once people, like if I place an order for your journal, it's just, they print it and send it to me. So it's all drop ship now?
Yep. So here's the way it works is I can order mine. And so I ordered a bunch of copies. And so somebody today is going to get the first run that doesn't have the nifty white print, which
Okay.
then I surveyed in the white print and less cursive won out. Anyway, so I can order them and I pay a certain cost and then I can give them away. I can sell them. I can do whatever. The other
Okay.
thing is a lot of them, when I did my drawing when I was doing my promo and I said, okay, I'm giving away 3 books a week. Those I usually ordered from Amazon and had them shipped directly to the person.
Okay,
And so you can do that too, where it's almost like you're buying it as a gift.
right.
And then I don't know for sure. I think I have to pay whatever the Amazon price is because, when I launched, I did it at $4.99 and now it's $9.99. And
Yeah.
so if I order one for you, for example, I think I have to pay the $9.99. I don't know if they give me the author discount, but they have a separate link that I can use to buy if I just want copies that I'm going to give away to people or resell or whatever. Otherwise, you just tell people, go to Amazon, they buy it. You don't even have to deal with shipping. By the
Right.
way, when I ordered 25 books from Amazon, the shipping was something like, now I can't remember, it was 26 cents or 60 some cents per book. If I was going to sell or ship that box of books of 25 books, $21,
Right.
$21. And when I
Yes.
got it from Amazon, I think it was, I don't know, it was some small number. And I, of course, did all the math because I'm anal and I got to figure all that out.
Yeah. No, I do too. And I just, print on demand. Thanks, Lori. That's,
But-
another term for,
Right,
what I
but just
was
to
in my
clarify
mind.
Katie's question, so
Yeah.
if you create a book or a journal with all these pages, you can upload them to Amazon, somebody can order it, they do the physical printout and shipping for you, I don't have to like print books, send it to them, stock it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They must, it must be though that they have, don't they, Becky, aren't what you're saying is you have to do an initial run as the author for the
Nope.
setup? You don't even have to do that?
Not that I know of, not that I
Is
know
there
of.
is there a cost then to the seller to do that every time someone orders your book for $9.99? Are they charging you $1 or something to print this?
Not exactly. So what happens is, let's say that my book is at $9.99 and let's say my cost is $3. Then I get a percentage based on the difference. They take their cut and they
Mhm.
pay a percentage. So it's like you get royalties, but when I did my old book like this and I had Guidepost and Hallmark and all those people publishing it, good God, I think I got like 20 cents or 30 cents a book.
Yeah.
They pay you something in the neighborhood of 2 to 8%. I was in the gift market, so that's even cheaper than in the
Oh.
regular book market.
Okay.
So with Amazon, I haven't really double checked this, but I believe I have heard that you get as high as a 70% royalty.
Wow.
So,
The
so if
author
you're,
does.
so if I would sell a book for $20,
Yeah.
are you saying, would I know in advance what my profit would be and the payment would be to me?
Supposedly, you know, they will tell you what your cost is for the book or what the cost is for the book, because you're not paying out of pocket. And then what I've heard, and I haven't dug into it, but what I have heard from people is it's a little hard to figure out exactly how Amazon's math works. So that's all I can tell you. And but anyway, you know, if anybody wants this, my nephew is a good designer and he's looking for a job, so he's picking up some freelance things. And the thing I like about him is he might be a little slow and not have the sense of urgency some of us do. But what I love is that he cares so much about being an artist and doing quality work and making things look good, that he just wants to make sure things look good. I mean, he does stuff for some nonprofits and things where he said, send me your ad because let me just tweak it so it looks better. And he will do that because he cares so much about the art aspect that he's like, and he did one for me. He said, well, can you send me the thing that you did? And I go, yeah. And he goes, I'll just do some little tweaks, you know, it'll just be psychologically where people will recognize it. They might not even be able to say what's different, da, 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 da. And so I sent him the thing and he like tilted my book instead of me having it straight up. And I'm like, well, heck yeah, that's better. I mean, if that was all he did, and he changed the font on some part of the text and for the little flyer thing that I made that I put on online, and I of course did on Canva, you know, so just to have somebody do that, you know, and I've used Fiverr for some promo stuff, and that was a bit of a, it sucked up a lot of my time. You know, my coach uses Fiverr for books and has a great experience. I think if you're doing things that are strictly text, maybe you can find somebody good on Fiverr, you know, but my book, it's not that complicated, but you know, it's got lines, it's got art, it's got quotes, it's got different things. And that's just, you know, not a straight, simple, okay, PDF, make sure the borders are right, da, 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 and spit it back to you. Okay, we've spent a pile of time on that. We're almost out of time. Anybody have anything else that you want to know about that might be a little different subject?
Can you post your nephew's link?
Yeah. Let me find him. I gave him to you, and thank you, Brad. All right, let me see if I can find him in the meantime. Come on. I am working on that. Any other questions from anybody?
Oh, I'm curious. Are you, Becky? And, you know, I know my question is still related to the book, but it's a marketing question. Are you planning, or have you done in the past, a launch party for your book? So some of you know, I wrote a book and it was published in 2021. It's a book about mentoring, nonfiction. And I was holding off having a launch party in this geography, the Twin Cities, because I really wanted to see the pandemic conditions recede more fully. However, now that I'm at where I'm at, personally, I'm not planning to do a launch party. I've been to several of them and I see mixed success. I've been to one that was wildly successful. Like the author just sold cases and cases of books. Everybody there bought 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of her book. But then I've been to other ones where I was like, holy cow, this author just spent a lot in charcuterie and wine. And, you know, I was helping this author sell books and I didn't feel confident that we sold that many. So you as a marketer, Becky, and since this is your, fourth book, what has
13th
been your
or 14th?
experience?
I don't know. I don't even count anymore.
Yeah. What's been your experience? Again, in the spirit of marketing, marketing and selling.
Okay, good question. I am going to put something on the screen right now as I answer that question. So this is going to be my spinner for the contest. And as I'm talking, just if everybody would look and make sure that your name is on here. And if not, put a message in chat. So I would say that for people that do launch parties, it might be more of a personal ego trip. I don't want to be disparaging, but I think they might have a different reason for doing it. I don't know if it really sells much. You know, in the old days when I did my stuff, I had a rather unusual approach about selling because I made brochures, we did telemarketing, I was on media, I was speaking at organizations, and you know, I approached it like I would as a marketing person versus as a publisher. So I did a whole bunch of stuff because not too many people would have this book Love from Grandma and have a flyer for it and have sent it out and then have people making telemarketing calls, but that's what we did, and we sold, you know, like a ton of them. So I would say the launch parties, it really depends a little bit on the book. It depends on your following. If you've got something and you've got a great following, and in particular, if you got a following that's local, then, and you can get people to show up, you might have to give them food. You might have to have things like free books, you know, and drawings and prizes and that kind of stuff. I don't really know, because I think some of that stuff isn't that effective. You know, and even book signings, they kind of have gone the way of the dinosaur too. Okay, Brad, I'll put you on there. I don't know if that's much of an answer. Ah, Curtis, I think you're not on there too. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to stop that for now. Okay, well, heck, we're almost at a wrap up. I want to show you something real quick. Going to do this. Okay, you can see the mind map. Somebody tell me if you can see the mind map.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So you might know I'm like a big fan of mind maps. So my one group that I'm working with, we are working on marketing plans. So I said, you know, just as we're working through a bunch of these pieces, make yourself a mind map and keep track of the questions that you have. So when you're working on your product or service and you're defining it and you're putting all the pieces together, or you're tweaking what you already have, if there's something that pops in your mind, you go, ah, I wonder what my customers think about, or my clients think about such and such. Capture it. We talked this week in my group about pricing, and I shared the 3 pricing strategies that I kind of like. So I thought, all right, when you're working on your pricing, if something pops in your head where you go, wow, I wish I knew such and such, write it down. And then the other thing, if you can see this one, well, whatever. I don't have the best luck with sharing. But I just encourage people to come up with ways to keep track of stuff. Certainly, yes. How could I not think? You can put it in your journal. And we also, yeah, thanks, Brad. We also did a SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And we aren't actually doing the SWOT per se. And as we were going through all these different pieces, I call it your secret formula. As we were crafting and putting that together, I said, now, as you're working on something and you're defining, again, I'll just go back to product or service. As you're looking at that, and you go, oh, I am so good at this. This is something that I do better than anybody. Well, put it on your SWOT list so you don't forget it. Because then when we get to the SWOT, you've already got some pieces in mind. Or if you sit there and you're looking at your product and you're going, or your service, and you say, dang, you know, I'm not sure if I'm current on this stuff. Well, maybe that's a weakness. And you put that on your weakness thing. So just, I encourage people to use your journal, which I hadn't really thought of, but use your journal or make things like a mind map and just get yourself tools so that as things come to mind or you have ideas that you've got a way to capture them. That's, you know, because we all have things that come up and we forget. Okay, so now I am going to go back to my screen share again. And hopefully you can see the spinner. Is the spinner showing up? Anybody, can you see the spinner? I think somebody said yes. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So we are going to give away 2 books. And so I'm getting techie here and I got the spinner. I don't know if this needs to be downloaded, but it'll work anyway. So let's go with it. Jody, you are the first winner. Jody, tell me if you want, which book you want.
Well, I have to get you in full screen mode. Just a minute, I gotta do standard. Okay, let me see. What are
Well-
my choice?
Well,
Blue writing or,
okay, so you get the journal, My Brilliant Ideas, Hopes and Dreams, or you get the book Love from Grandma.
no, I want the journal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. We are going to take her off and spin it again. Suspense, isn't it?
I love this little program you have here.
Ilona, you get Love from Grandma. Do you already have one? I know Ilona was busy with some things in the background. Okay, well, we will assume that she doesn't have that and she will get the Love from Grandma book. Yeah, so that was another thing, the whole spinner thing. I'm like, oh God, which spinner? How does it work? Do I need to download it? Do I need to pay for something? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? And I thought, okay, fine. I'm just going to the website. We're going to run it from there. All right, now I don't know if I missed any other questions because we got 2 minutes left. So we are kind of at a wrap up. Any last questions, comments, thoughts, anything you want to share? And thank you all for being here. I'm very happy that you showed up this morning. And again, we'll be here first Friday in March. And if you can invite people, that would be great. We'll keep going.
I would like to offer a forecast that it just occurred to me, Becky, like halfway through our time together. And that is in a similar way that there are MBA programs that have evolved where it's specifically to train you for a career in nonprofit,
Mhm.
right? It's like a unique MBA.
Mhm.
I forecast there is going to be an MBA developed that is just to train you on Amazon. It is such a beast and it is ever changing. I mean, whatever you're trying to sell via that marketplace, it's just gobs of new stuff all the time, a lot of nuance. And so anybody that's trying to sell anything on Amazon, I mean, I'm a total novice newbie, but I would definitely say attach yourself to someone who's got expertise and pay them to help you, but this discussion this morning already, Becky, fabulous. Absolutely
Oh, well,
fabulous.
excellent. Hey, Rodney, now we see your face.
Hey guys, sorry, multitasking here. Great conversation. I apologize for being passive. I've got another event going on here shortly.
No problem. I'm glad you could come in.
All right, good
I'd
job.
I'd like to hear what's going on after the last couple of weeks of your life.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we are set, and you are absolutely right about Amazon. It is a beast. And for anybody that, I think the book business is not so bad, but for other people that are vendors and sell through them, oh, Amazon is almost abusive. They make the demands they make. I mean, they basically make you take product back, even if it's been out there like a year or some insane thing. And it can be a little challenging.
But it's so easy for the consumer to buy, especially if you're a Prime member, and it just makes it an easy place for people to go.
Oh, totally. It absolutely is. It's a brilliant
It's for the
business
consumer.
operation.
But
Yeah, it does have its downsides.
yeah, as a seller, I'd be interested in learning more if I did something like that.
Well, I think we are at a wrap. I need Ilona's and Jody. Would you email me your mailing address, please? So I think we are all set. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for tuning in. We'll see you guys next month. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, and you too.